Hey, you, stop playing these video games. You're there, in your room, for 8 hours already. Get out, get some fresh air. Go outside, play with your friends. Come on, these video games are nothing can learn to these games. Please go out, your grades are getting lower. Have you ever heard this from your father or mother? Or even from your teacher or family? Well, I did. And I want to talk today about the positive sides of gaming. As I've researched, 91% of US kids, United States kids, play video games between the age of 2 to 17-year-old. 2 to 17. The biggest group, or the biggest rising group nowadays, is between the age of 2 to 5 that are playing video games. It's a huge number, but what do we do with it? So 91% plays games, and we could either look at it the bad side and bash it, like our parents do all the time, or we can see or ask those kids what they are actually doing and what they are actually thinking that they are doing on the game. Because when I look back at my history, I played between my 10th and my 19th for 9,600 hours. 9,600 hours of gaming is around 400 days of 24 hours a day. So it was a huge amount, and I cannot only talk positively about it, because when I got more addicted, and I never told my parents that I really got addicted because it was a lot of fun, I figured out that I also got more lonely, especially at the moment when the outside world was meaning less for me than the virtual world. So at that point, I felt very depressed. At the point when some friends quit gaming, and at that time, my uncle was terribly sick. He was taken to a hospital, and not a long time later, he died from cancer. What I remember from him, he was there always, every single weekend, to help us with the renovation. He was a single guy, and on a funeral, I saw more than 1,000 people saying him goodbye. More than 1,000 people he made impact to with a single act of kindness. He was just there for them and never wanted anything in return. And he tried to help wherever he could. And when I was upstairs playing video games, I felt that I was only training myself, but I was not doing anything for someone else. So I was doing a lot of stuff that was really fun, but actually I didn't make a lot of impact, I thought. At the moment that I was on his funeral, I decided to quit. Right from that point, I quit video gaming. I got back to school, and I realized that I was better in English than my peers. I was even better at collaborating in different groups. I was better at overcoming challenges, like overcoming stage fear I had back then. I knew how to challenge myself because I knew how to level up in game. And soon I realized that the things that I was unaware of, that I learned through gaming, were actually skills I developed through almost 10,000 hours of gaming. So I was good at leadership. I was able to manage communities because I did it inside that game. And I figured out I could do it as well outside, in the outside world. And my uncle realized that if you can do something that's fun and something that makes an impact, you get much more gratification and much longer gratification than just leveling up. And I realized that making an impact with gaming should be the solution. So I sooner or later decided to design my outside world as a game. And I realized that all these games that people are playing when they're young are actually very good games for developing life skills, like collaboration skills, communication skills, digital literacy. That's pretty important nowadays. We can work and collaborate online, but also you are able to connect with new people without having the fear to do that. You don't have any assumptions before you connect with a person because you've played with maybe 20 different nationalities inside gaming. And I searched for something. So I searched for games that were actually having an impact on the real world. And I figured out that actually the most popular game right now is doing that. Think about the most popular game, what it is, what do you see in the media? It's Pokemon Go. And you think it's a game that doesn't do anything, but it is a game that does do and does have some effects, because people are going outside, they're exercising. You get points for exercising. People are going outside and meeting new people. They're talking with people they never heard before, never seen before, and they're able to collaborate with them. And I sooner or later realized that serious gaming is actually there for a long time, for example, in flight simulations. In flight simulations, you are taken to a safe environment, and you learn the skills that you need to do it in the outside world. And that's what's happening in video games as well. You learn and develop skills that you can actually use in the outside world. And I thought of more games that do this. And nowadays, with new technology, I can actually demonstrate how this can impact the way we look at video gaming in the future. And I want to show you a demo of what I did 2 days ago with a friend.
Wel goed, Steven.
Hey, Michael. We're here to help you to cook.
And I love to cook, actually.
I already made a part of the salad. Only the tomato is left, so...
Oh, that's no problem.
Can you help me with the tomato now?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we're gonna cut it in parts. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how to cut the tomato. So first, put it in half.
Yeah.
Cut it in half.
And you see? He sees the line?
There we go.
I'm playing Fruit Ninja right now, if you've heard of that game.
That does look good, yep.
And he's doing it.
So
it's for me, it's a safe environment.
So what we do
and
next
he's able
is...
to cook he's able to make a salad.
Maybe I can put it in one slice.
And this way he was able to make a salad.
Let's do it again.
While he never eats at home
Cut
anymore.
it in half like
because
this.
He's so busy. But now he knew how to make a
we
salad.
have
He didn't have to
4
research
parts.
it because I was live streaming with him. And I could check how he was doing. Oh, yeah. Sometimes he took the lines as the correct line, but now I explained it. So I want to show it with this device on. And you see that I see you guys. And now we are live. And what you see is what I see is it's my video game. I have it on my head. And I can close this window. I can look around. And you can see that what do you see there? It's actually a TED Talk. I can watch this TED Talk. Ooh, what's here? It's a toolbox. And this is Fragments. It's actually a crime scene investigation game where you can figure out who did the crime. And here is Actiongram. What does it do? Oh, here's an example of what it does. Oh yeah, there's a dinosaur. Oh, he's walking next to you guys. Aren't you scared? Wow, let's turn this off. And here's a globe. Oh, maybe I can connect to a lot of people outside of the other side of the world. So I can just step into a place and I can get a tour from a local there. And here, the toolbox that I just showed. What can you do with that? I'm talking Dutch here, I'm sorry. But I'm designing a land on my own bed. So I'm taking the online world into an offline environment where I can actually share it with other people at the same time. So I can connect with people on the other side of the world. And I want to take this idea to what is possible with it. So think about video games, as everyone has this thing at home one day. Think about it. Oh, maybe I can show yourself. There you go, a little bit. He's scanning the environment, so he's making an infrared picture of the room, and your room becomes your game. But take this example as a way to train more female women to become leaders. Because you see that most game developers are men. And as we can see that only 1 out of 5 people that play games are female. If we look at women in leadership positions, it's also 1 out of 5, or maybe even less in some countries. And while I'm practicing a lot of life skills through video gaming, I think we have to design more games for women. And I think when these games are there, we can solve really big issues. Like, we could tune in a surgery, and we can help with a second opinion, or we can train people to be able to handle the stress in such situations. Or when we want to fly to Mars, we can practice before, like with the simulation, that we can also connect with someone in space when there's an internet connection. So there's a lot of ideas, and I think once academics, like researchers that have never done anything in entrepreneurship, but they can connect with the politicians in the debates about climate change or about restoring world peace, we can actually include a lot more women in that if they are willing to take these digital tools, these technologies out there, as something they can use to express their knowledge to other world leaders, to the men that are currently on the stage. So I want you to think about the positive sides of gaming, because if we keep on bashing video games, we lower people's self-esteem. If we look at the good sides of gaming and what the results are, what the skills are that you develop through gaming, if you ask for it, because when you're young, you're unaware of that, you can actually coach and facilitate these skills to be used in the outside world. And nowadays, we can merge online and offline better and better with devices like smartphones and glasses. And we can actually game during the day while we're moving. And I want to link this with education, because we don't have to sit in a classroom to learn skills. I can learn history and math, and I can learn geography through a fully immersed experience with other people around the world. So by checking in and taking the technology as a positive side, as an opportunity to learn new skills or to train skills that you once need in your life when you're having to make a career, I think we can really make a change. So take this 91% and lift it up to 100. Thank you.